So, what is going on, guys? Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy, once again, elita-1. And elita-1 here is, well, elita-1 from Legacy. She exists. She's certainly a figure. She came out in Wave 2. And honestly, she's really not that expensive. At least she wasn't. I got her earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken. Somehow. Legacy is one of those weird lines where it's just there's so many weird characters that just don't sell super well, and Elita was definitely one of those. I'm not missing a part out of it, I just don't have it on me, which is the little thing that looks like her ears in her alt form. I just put that in Earthrise Prime's trailer, and I just forgot about it, so... And I don't know where the trailer is, so that doesn't help either. But this is Elita nonetheless, and she looks pretty good, if I'm being honest. I do like the design. It's a way to do a female version of the figures, because again, the whole thing with Transformer female figures is that they really don't like making them transform. They like making an action figure and then sticking everything on the back. But with Elita here, I don't think they did it. I think they actually did a pretty good job. Though there is one thing I'm noticing, which she has like some paint bleed down here by the abdomen area, which is a bit of a shame. There's like a bit of like a pink or a red going there. I'm going to say it's red just because the crotch piece is painted. And I mean, most of the figure does look good. She does have these big shoulder pads, which certain people probably won't like, but I like that. I don't mind them there. I think they look kind of cool. Up there, I think they look nice. Her legs look pretty good as they actually have robot parts or car parts in them instead of being skinny female legs like they continuously do with RC and every other female figure. It's one of my biggest gripes with Transformers is how they do female figures. It really is, because they don't have to be super slender all the time, Hasbro. Make them like the other Transformers. You know, just do certain parts, obviously. But, like, they don't have to be super skinny all the time. Like, this is, like, the perfect way to do it. And she does have a bit of a backpack, but it's not the worst. This is like a generally alright backpack, in my opinion. That's a pretty good one. She stands well. She looks pretty good, and I mean, it's not in the way. I think this is like the best way they could have done it. Color-wise, she has a lot of kind of purple-pink. Or it's like we have wine, like a kind of, I guess that's burgundy. Kind of like a crimson, and then pink, and then white. She has pretty much all the generic female colors you could think of for a Transformer, but that's just how she goes, I guess. Which, I mean, I'm not going to argue against it. This color scheme looks quite good, and her head sculpt also looks quite good. It's a little big, though, I find. Although I think that's literally just her look, though. She just has a big old helmet on. She has this little thing. She has the ears. It just looks pretty solid, in my opinion. It looks good. Again, backpack is backpacking. It's there. Otherwise, though, I mean, pretty solid. Her accessories are interesting. Again, Legacy Translucent Gun. I mentioned it in the G-Axis review the other day. They kept doing this. Then by Wave 3, they were gone. It's weird. They just disappeared at Wave 3 like nothing ever happened. Woo. Actually, that's a lie, because Crankcase had one, and I'm thinking about it, but Point Blank didn't, Skullgrin didn't, Dead End didn't, but Crankcase did. Anyway, I get these two translucent guns, which have come with another release, which I need to do a review of that pack again, if I'm being honest. You know, the 5-pack. I need to do that again at some point, I really do. Because I do have that, and I just never reviewed it again. I did review it at one point. It's one of those ones I deleted, and I was like, why did I do that? So, I'll have to take a look at that again. But these guns are pretty alright, I guess. I kind of like the small one more than the large gun. This one just feels a little too clunky for some reason. Like, it just feels too clunky. This one here, though, this is, like, perfect. I love this gun. I wish you just had 2 of those, honestly. 2 of these would have been great. The big one, I could take or leave, honestly. But that is basically just elita-1's robot mode, other than her articulation, of course, which is pretty alright. She has a ball joint in the head. Forward, back is kind of blocked because of, again, the backpack, which is where we kind of get the issue with the backpack. But it's not a bad backpack, like I said. I've still seen worse. Swivel, beyond 90, wrist swivel, waist rotation, forward. Back is blocked a bit, outward, swivel, knee joint goes exactly 90, and she does have an ankle tilt, but no forward and back. So pretty standard overall for a more modern Transformer. There's not really much that's wrong with this. I mean, pretty good overall. But what about that transformation? Well, to transform Alita, not that hard, honestly. Like, really easy. First thing I'm going to do, flip out these little panels here because I always forget about them. And we're going to just leave the feet for now. The legs do peg together like that. I'll save that for later. Next up, we then have the whole backpack, which is pretty much the entirety of the transformation. So there's one part, don't forget to flip this out. I always forget it. It's in there. Ta-da. Anyway, once you flip that out, I'm going to want to then take the kind of side parts that were on the shoulders, fold them back, join up with the rest of the alternate form. And then once you do that, you're going to want to rotate the arms and bend the elbow just a tad. Like, I'm not joking, just a tad. The forearms will peg in, and that little tab there will just go into the slot that's created by the elbow being bent. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Rotate the waist, and then take the legs, and they will fold up and in like that. Just make sure they're pegged together. Take those, and they cover up the little mushroom peg for the wrist swivel. And then that just goes on like that. Take her feet, fold them back like so. Make sure everything is lined up correctly so you don't have any unwieldy gaps. And here we have Alita's alt form, which is just this little Cybertronian car. I like it. It's not a bad alt mode. It rolls pretty well. Don't mind me. I did change my backdrop, but now I have a giant bump back here instead of it being flat, which sucks. But it looks pretty good. I feel like it could actually fit like a Titan Master in there. There's a lot of space between this cockpit section. And oh dear God, there she is. Yeah, again, she doesn't transform much, but at least it's an effective alt form. I mean, a lot of it is backpack, but at least it's not bad, you know? At least it's not overly bad. Her little ears would come out of the top, but again, I just don't have them. And you can peg the guns in to the side, like so. This one definitely works a little better in alt form, in my opinion. And again, you could just peg one up here if you don't have the whole thing. Ta-da! And I mean, it looks pretty good. The paint on it looks nice, but the feet on the back are just like, what are they doing? There could have been a better way, right? Could they have not have, like, folded in somehow? You just had to stick them on the back. Like, at least they didn't just do that, I guess. They could have just did that, but that looks equally as bad, in my opinion. They're like thrusters, yes, but it just looks kind of bad. And I mean, the car just, it looks good. The paint on it is very good. There's a lot of paint up the front. The back is very barren, though, and it's just red. But hey, it doesn't look bad, and I don't really have many complaints about the alt form. And that's basically it for her, so let's just get to my final thoughts on Alita, which are, she's pretty alright. And again, this figure does have another version with Strong Arm, which I don't own. I contemplated buying Strong Arm a couple times, and I just didn't. But as far as it goes, Alita's just a fine figure. I mean, if you're looking for Alita, I guess, I mean, I'd say go for it. Some people like the Titans Return one, or the Power of the Primes one. Whatever one it was. God, I forget those 3 years other than Combiner Wars. They're just really melded together. Especially especially Power of the Primes, where it was literally everything. But as far as it goes with Alita, I think she is quite good, and I do like the mold. I think it's probably one of the better current female figure molds they've made. That's not hard to do, though, because, again, they just love doing the whole thing and giving them a massive backpack, but this one, to me, works. Again, there is a backpack, but it's not overly obtrusive like the other ones. This one, in my opinion, works and is probably the best version of a female figure they've made in a while, other than the Air Razor mold. That one works because that's a bird, though. So that one kind of works. But the cars, this is probably the gold standard, in my opinion, if I had to make a female car former. They just couldn't do it. And now they have with this mold. And I want to kind of check out Strong Arm to see if she's any good, because I heard she does have a couple of differences. But I would think she'd probably be just about as good, right? Right? I don't know. But that is basically it for this review. This has been my review of Elita-1. This has been Elite signing out.